That's right, Doug. And there was a decent-sized crowd here today on Wednesday. Some of them trying to beat the rush and the crowds of Thurby, Oaks, and Derby. The last of those crowds are making their way out of Churchill Downs right now. But like you said, the big crowds are going to be coming starting tomorrow for Thurby. Then you have Oaks and Derby. And with those big crowds come some big changes too to keep people safe. Louisville Metro Police and Churchill Downs are working together, making sure the hundreds of thousands of Derby Week visitors are able to have a safe and enjoyable experience while minimizing the impact to neighbors and local businesses. Police say with all the added traffic, people should be patient when trying to get into Churchill Downs. LMPD will have an added police presence with fully uniformed officers placed in visible locations. Churchill Downs has also added metal detectors at the gates. Event officers will be doing bag checks to make sure guests don't bring in any banned items.
It was very quick and easy, and we understand the need for it, and it keeps everyone safe.
We've added additional cameras, and then there's some other things that we can't talk about, and it's just as a precautionary. The world is changing, so we're trying to keep up with the times.
Metro Police say they're also monitoring for any threats directed at Churchill Downs, including those made on social media. Police say at this time they have not found any threats. People driving to Churchill Downs will not be allowed on property without a reserved parking pass. Starting Thursday through Saturday, there will be a shuttle going between the Kentucky Expo Center and Churchill Downs. And if you are keeping an eye on the forecast, you might be wondering, can I bring an umbrella or sunscreen into Churchill Downs this week? The answer, if you have an umbrella, you will not be able to bring it in this week. But if you have sunscreen, you can bring that in as long as it's not in a glass container. We have a full list of what you can and can't bring, as well as information about parking and travel and roads, all that on our website, WHAS11.com. Live from Churchill Downs, Dennis Ting, WHAS 11 News.
Bright flames blazing in a dark morning sky. The property owner first saw signs of fire on surveillance video from home, quickly calling his friend who was staying nearby.
And I told him no, that I didn't think it was, I didn't believe it was, and then I heard a big boom noise, and I looked out the window and I said, oh my God, yes, it is on fire.
Dennis Money dialed 911 and rushed toward the fire, watching it grow as he moved closer.
At first it wasn't that bad, and then the time I got down to the bottom of the hill here, it was just engulfed in flames.
The heart of the business, located inside a barn, was completely caved in. Employees say they've seen small sparks before, but nothing quite like this. 7 agencies work together to battle the blaze.
You know, you have 3 and 4 stacked on top of each other, right next to each other, and there wasn't very many aisleways we could get into, so that's why we used tower operations. We could fight this fire from the air down.
Fire officials still don't know where or how the fire started, but the devastating effects are already clear. Employees guessing they suffered about $300,000 in damage.
Very heartbreaking, very heartbreaking.
Because for these men, it's more than just a material loss, but the loss of memories made over decades.
It's a total disaster.
The business they built up now burned down to debris.
And he's got a plan. Well, now to it's covering southern Indiana, and the very same types of problems. We're high above Jeffersonville this afternoon, and anyone close to the Ohio is now off to higher ground.
That's right. Our Dennis Ting spending the day with residents in another part of Clark County, Utica. Hey, Dennis, what can you tell us?
Well, Rachel, Doug, I want you to take a look at this river behind me. This river in the past 3 hours has come up about 5-6 yards already. This place has come about 5-6 yards already. Now, if you want to come over here, I want to show you guys something else. If we look over there, those are all sandbags. It's a big pile of sand over there. Now, they've started the process of filling up those sandbags. The idea is that they're going to place the sandbags over here to build a little barrier, but it's not going to stop the flooding. Once the floodwaters come up, that area is still going to be flooding. The point of those sandbags is to give residents maybe up to an extra day to evacuate, which over here today we've seen a lot of these residents have already been doing just that. The water continues to rise, already flooding onto the roads and backyards along the Ohio River.
It's a good weather for ducks, and unfortunately I'm not a duck.
Next couple of days, we're going to see what happens. Hopefully we're going to be smiling and not crying.
For many living in this old Utica neighborhood, today is moving day. People loading up trailers, semis, and trucks, moving their belongings out of their homes before the floodwaters reach them.
2 days ago, we thought it was going to be fine. When they said it jumped from 32 to 34, all bets are off. So we started evacuating.
I've never been through a serious flood, so my aunt had to kind of help me with where the mark was for when it's time to leave versus you'll be all right.
Alex Blanton may have only lived at this family house for a few years, but he was here visiting family in 1997 when he says the floodwaters covered several feet of the home.
It was a mess afterward, a lot of debris. It was a kid, so I don't remember it really well, but it was the first time I saw the house empty.
A mile away, Barbara Tennell is preparing for a father-daughter dance at Lakeside Reflections, but says the flooded roads could pose a problem for drivers, forcing them to take detours this weekend.
Mother Nature is definitely a challenge for us, especially when it rains, but they should be able to get here just fine.
While the show must go on at Lakeside Reflections, back in Old Utica, the community is coming together as they prepare to leave their homes, something they've grown accustomed to over the years.
And everybody usually has that backup where they're going to go and all that figured out for the season just in case.
You know, this is a great community. Even in 1997, when everybody lost everything they had, they were still saying, what can I do to help you? I mean, these are great people.
As the water levels continue to rise, they're preparing for the worst, but hoping they'll be able to return to find the best case scenario. And again, like Shay said earlier, we've been hearing so many stories of just neighbors helping neighbors out here, and this is a community that's no stranger to flooding. We talked to one man who said he was worried. He tried to get a U-Haul to help his father get the stuff out of his house so they could protect it from the water damage from when the floods come up this weekend. He said he looked everywhere for a U-Haul, wasn't able to find one. We later talked to another man, told him about that this neighbor's story. He said that he had a semi that was hauling off some stuff now, but once he was done with it, he'd be happy to share it. We've heard so many of these stories, just people helping people during this time, and a lot of these people are staying pretty positive, saying they've been through this before and they'll get through it just like they did before then. Live in Utica, Dennis Tang, WHAS 11 News.